Welcome back to Spitballin Cards. In today's video, we're talking all about the World Series, doing a little bit of a preview, talking about what cards we own. It's pretty cool. Guys, thanks for being here. It's cool that we're here at the World Series. It's been a long season. It was our first season as a Spitballin team. I'm thinking maybe one of these days, maybe next year, we have like a video where we watch a game together and react to it. If you're interested in that, let us know, and we can talk cards and the game the whole time. That'd be fun. But either way, in this video, I want to hear all about who you're rooting for, what card you own of those players, and what you hope to see with these players' cards. So in today's video, my name is Scott. We have Phil, we have Jeff, and we have Chris. Ty is not here. He'll be back next week. And let's jump into this. Phil, who are you rooting for as a Red Sox fan?
Well, I try to root for the Yankees because Juan Soto's my guy. He's on the team, whatever. I've got some like card association with Aaron Judge, some wax with Soto and Judge also with the Yankees, more so than I did with the Guardians. But I found myself still rooting for Cleveland. I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it with in Soto's first full season with the Yankees. I just couldn't root for the Yankees. But the way it ended, that was the only acceptable outcome for me. In order for me to be happy with the outcome, was with Soto having that pretty dramatic 3-run shot to break the tie there. And I still can't do it with the World Series. I'm going to be going for the Dodgers here, and that's more about the heart than the wallet. Although I do have some incentives for really either team winning at this point.
Cool. Awesome. What about you, Jeff? Who are you rooting for?
Well, it's kind of exciting because as a Brewer fan, I was very disappointed with the way the season ended for my team. And typically I don't like to root for the big market teams, but being back in the hobby, it does give me a little rooting interest. And I think, what do we have? Maybe 4 of the top 10 players in the hobby in this World Series. So from that point of view, it's really exciting for me. I'm going to be excited to watch the games. I don't really have a rooting interest besides it going as long as possible. I'd love to see it go 7 games, get as much baseball as we can. And I'd love to see the stars come out and play. Ohtani and Betts. Betts is already doing a great job of changing his postseason narrative. He's been on fire, and Ohtani's looking great now after a little lull there in the middle. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if Judge comes alive in the World Series. Soto's been one of the best players in baseball and is showing that he belongs right up there at the top. So I'm excited about just the prospect of seeing the games. No real rooting interest, although a lot of our friends out here in LA, there's a lot of Dodger fans, and I guess I'd like them to be happy. So I'll root on their behalf maybe a little bit.
So I do want to note that I hope we have a Cleveland Yankees similar style to this World Series where it's back and forth, close games. The Dodgers-Mets games are all kind of brutal, to be honest with you. There wasn't really a good game to watch. And so I'm hoping that whatever it is, whoever wins, I just hope it's entertaining. So that's the first thing I want to note. And you talked about Soto and Judge, but I think we should mention Stanton real quick. I think his hobby is becoming relevant again. If they can pull off this World Series, I'm seeing a lot of Hall of Fame talks online and Yankees fans going crazy, and I think it could help his cards big time. If anybody can win the most, it might be Stanton out of this postseason, to be honest. All right, Chris, who are you rooting for?
I'm rooting for my second favorite team, which is whoever is playing the Yankees. Pretty much how I've always been. It's nothing's going to change. I do obviously. The Dodgers have 3 of my favorite non-Atlanta Braves players. It's kind of frustrating that people I like just continue to go to the Dodgers, and it sort of forces me to root for them when they should be like, my team's biggest rival, but it is what it is. So yeah, I will definitely be rooting for the Dodgers. I also want to say, you mentioned Stanton and Soto. I know Stanton hit like 1 more home run, but Soto had a much better LCS than Stanton did, like statistically, and he plays defense. So I was shocked.
It's absolutely the narrative. It's very frustrating. The narrative of Stanton rising from the dead to have a good series, that did it. And I think people had that in their minds even before the series was finished. Otherwise, how could you not give it to Soto with the way it ended?
I mean, Soto's numbers were better. And the defense, I think maybe they look at Stanton and they're just scared of him. I don't know, like his arms are enormous. He is very intimidating, but I don't know. I thought Soto was going to win that award, that MVP, hands down.
The funny thing is, I didn't think it was even close until Soto hit that. When I say close, I mean like narrative from the media close, right? I think in regards to like batting average and things, it was close. But Soto hitting that 3-run extra innings go-ahead home run, I thought maybe pushed it towards him. And I thought it was probably kind of awkward for him and Stanton when they were standing in the this little huddle at the end to see who won the trophy. I think it's fine Stanton won it, but Soto had an amazing World Series. He had 28% win probability added, right? That's huge in the World Series. Stanton, for example, had 8% championship win probability added this last series. I don't know if it's different if one's in the World Series and one's in the CS because, it helps more in the World Series. I don't know. But regardless, Soto didn't win it there, the MVP. Right. That was Strasburg. Yeah, so I really want to see Soto get recognition for being good. Maybe in the World Series is when he deserves it. So.
What was Strasburg's win probability added in that World Series?
Good question. Real quick.
Probably like 80. He was untouchable for 2 starts, like completely untouchable for 2 starts.
19.9%. Soto's was 28%.
Yeah,
Soto was out of his mind. It's just that Strasburg was so good in the games that he appeared in that he kind of took the spotlight away.
Yeah, he pitched 14 innings with a 2.5 ERA. So how many runs did he let up? He had 4 earned runs. That surprises me that he got the MVP. Either way.
There you go. Stanton's his home runs, they came at pretty significant moments from what I remember.
Off clock to go ahead. He had that one, right?
Yep.
Yeah, like rally killers or go aheads, tiebreakers. It just seemed like even though all his hits were home runs, right?
Probably. He had 222. So
but I do agree, Scott. I think if there's a winner, a long-term winner out of this, it's probably Stanton.
Yeah.
Like we forget how young he is and how many home runs he's at. I've made comments in previous videos and previous months about Pete Alonso, Kyle Schwarber, about how they could, at some point, if everything breaks right, get to 500 homers. Stanton's basically already there, close to 400, right?
14.
Yep. Yeah, he needs 71 more, and he's averaged 90 games for the last 6 seasons.
And he's also averaged 30 home runs the last 6 seasons. So
we think of him as sucking.
Don't count for him.
Yeah,
we think of him as sucking a lot, and if you look at his previous year's numbers, depending on what's your barometer for a successful offensive season, that might confirm what you expect from Stanton. His last massive season was 2017. Last season, maybe with the Marlins.
His first season with the Yankees was pretty good. 4.4 WAR, quite a bit of home runs, but
he's an example. He kind of falls in that same bucket with Schwarber, with Pete Alonso, where they've got a high home run to WAR ratio.
Yeah,
so they'll do it in a way where the WAR won't be impressive, but they still do it, and those milestones still matter.
So speaking of WAR, guess how much WAR Stanton's had in the last 3 years. Guess how much WAR and how much money, both, right? How much WAR he had and how much money he made. I'll just take the money.
$90 million, zero.
Made $93 million. Guess how much WAR he had in the last 3 years?
I'm saying 0.
I feel like I've looked at this. I want to say it's like 0.1, I think, or 0.2. Because there was a -1 in there, I think.
He had -0.8 in 2023. He was real bad.
So that's
191 with a 695 OPS and an 87 OPS plus that year.
Oof. All right, 0.5. 0.5.
I mean, he's like Dave Kingman, except with that huge MVP season. It's rough.
0.6. So you were real close. So the hard part is prior to 2000. So from 2010 to 2018, he was a Hall of Famer. From 2019,
well, I mean, he looked like a shoo-in for 500 home runs.
Yeah,
and he still probably will. I think he has a great chance, right? I think that contract will keep him in the lineup at least a few more years full time, and then we'll see what happens. But if Judge needs to DH, that might be the end of Stanton. But we'll see what happens. So
he doesn't need that ballpark based on how hard he hits the ball, in my opinion. Yeah. So hope find now with National League with DHs, he'll find a home at some point somewhere else.
If he can stay healthy, he could stick around a long time. That's just a big if the way he's been going.
So let's ask this question. Are you intrigued by Stanton's cards now that he's doing so well, or do you have the exact same sentiment as you did 2 weeks ago to Stanton's cards?
Well, I see a lot of the people who had faith in Stanton are out there selling them because there's a lot of them showing up on eBay. So I guess some people are buying them. No, I'm not really interested in his cards. If I were a Yankees fan, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not really interested either, which is a shame because he shows up in a lot of sets I love. And I think, Scott, you and I both love 2011 Finest. Yes. He's got a really great looking card in there with some cool parallels. He's 2011, 2010 tops. His gold refractors look awesome. He's got a gold cup on 2011 tops. So he has a Hope Diamond in there with a gold cup, which looks incredible. I've seen 5 people post that one on Instagram, but I just can't get too excited about actually, exchanging my money for them.
Yeah, I know exactly how you feel. So probably enough Stanton talk for the short term.
No. Hold on.
Not enough? Not enough Stanton talk for the short term.
Lauren Shahadi was talking
on.
to Pedro Martinez after the series was over, and she was like, or she raised the question, like, how do you approach Giancarlo Stanton? Maybe she forgets how good Pedro was. And Pedro's like, well, this is exactly how you'd approach him. You would move him off the plate, even if it means a walk or hit by pitch. So jam him, get close to his body. And then you need to drop some breakers outside, change his eye level down, and make it so far outside where his long reach can't get to it, because he's got those long arms. And it doesn't matter where you pitch it, he's still going to get the barrel on the ball and probably pull a home run on the outer half of the plate. So I think why I'm bringing this up is because I think Cleveland didn't execute.
No.
On they either didn't have a good game plan or they didn't execute. The last home run he had was looked like a slider that was like middle hanger from Tanner Bybee, one of the few mistakes he had in that outing. And I think if the Dodgers have a good game plan for him, which I think they will, that will cool down this whole like, oh, Stanton's a great buy right now. I think in the meantime, there's not much value to be had. I think it might have been Slab Stocks that made a post about how his 2 highest selling cards just sold for the entire year, like this week. I think it might have been like an orange Bowman Chrome auto, like with like a low graded copy, and then maybe like a blue Bowman Chrome auto, PSA 10, something like that. And they both went for like $4,000 to $5,000. That would have been a good buy after his first home run. But for me, like looking for value, it's too late, and it's too bad these home runs don't count towards his total to get to 500. So I don't think he's necessarily a good buy now, unless he gets back down to the prices of September and has a horrible World Series. So I'll be looking forward to that.
I will say Stanton's Bowman Chrome autographs were never particularly cheap, to be honest with you. They've always had a pretty good floor to them, because I think there's always that potential, but this will elevate it for the short term. I'm wearing a Red Sox jersey. That wasn't because I want to be anti-Yankees. I did it with the intention of talking about Mookie Betts. It's only my only Mookie Betts jersey. I will never own a Dodgers jersey as a Rockies fan, even though I root for them. It sucks. I can't wait till he's off that team. But with that being said, I'm not really rooting for either team. I'm rooting for specific players. We have Mookie Betts, who I care about a ton in the Dodgers because I have his cards. I'm literally invested in his career. And then on the Yankees side, I have some Soto, and I haven't shown this to you guys. Actually, I did show it to Phil. I also now have some Aaron Judge.
Oh.
So
nice pickup.
So now I have to root for the Yankees a little bit, because this is one, in my opinion, and I'll make a video on this card, but this is one of Aaron Judge's best rookie cards, in my opinion. It's his only game-worn logo man that I know of. Rookie auto.
On-card auto too, right?
On-card auto, yeah. But there's a logo man in Dynasty, but it's from the All-Star game, so that's cool, but it's not this, right? So only game-worn logo man auto. He has some Inception. They're player-worn sticker autos. So anyways, I'm taking a chance on Aaron Judge, and so far he's been garbage. So let's see how it goes. He did have a big home run off of Class A, and then it didn't really matter because they came back. But big game-time home run off of Class A. So
I just want to be very clear. If something devastating now happens to Aaron Judge, maybe we can start saying that Scott's the jinx instead of it being me and a little bit of Jeff. I mean, I've had a rough track record with this. I would love to sort of pass this along like a horror movie curse onto someone else.
Watch Aaron Judge win the World Series MVP and be like, man, Scott
should be buy-in. What's going to happen when Scott finally buys Ohtani?
Right?
He's going to go 100.
Yeah.
So I was debating an Ohtani, but I couldn't afford his cards right now. I could get this, like one of his best rookie cards ever made of Judge, who I think is great, best offensive player in baseball this year, or like a fifth of a cool Ohtani. I know there's it's all price points, right? But like I want to get at least a blue Bowman Chrome autograph. That's my goal. And they're still just a little bit too much, unfortunately. So it may always be that way.
All right.
Okay,
so you have that Aaron Judge. Well, let's just do Aaron Judge real quick. I don't have a lot of Aaron Judge either as a lifelong Yankee non-fan, but this is like the one that I picked up.
Cool card.
And this is like my favorite rookie card of his. It's the SSP, which you can probably guess. Bat underarm. He's got his rookie teeth are behind his lips, which is where they belong. And I just like this stuff. I like cards like this. He's in the dugout, like kind of prepping to go to battle. This card gets me excited. It's a pop 11, so the real capital S in SSP.
Nice, and that's from Series 1, not opening day, right?
Correct, Series 1. I don't like the opening day one.
Oh, here's a little more Judge.
Oh yeah,
another rookie. He's gold
That's
minted. Cool. As you know, Chris and I love a good gold minted card. Here he's standing out there for the anthem.
I think that's his best like base image. I think
it's a really cool image.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
No,
and this is what you need.
Boy. It's too shiny. I can't even see it.
It's the shine, Bill. It's too much.
Bowman Chrome autograph. The picture is airbrushed, and that's why it's important.
And it doesn't say first.
It doesn't.
Exactly.
That is the first, though, right? That's 2013.
Yeah. It's one.
Is that a refractor, Phil? It was so bright.
Yeah, it was the shiny refractor, if you couldn't tell. Yeah. And it was one that I picked up in either April or May. And then Scott was looking up comps from like the last week in April, and they were a little lower than what I paid, but it ended up being a really good price.
In my defense, I was trying to buy that card from you. So I was into it. So it's not like I was saying it was a bad card.
True. And I didn't sell it, so I'm the man.
So is it worth more than when you bought it in April?
They've gone,
obviously.
It has to be.
They're probably closer to $4,000 right now.
Hashtag invest.
It's a True Gem Plus that's a little overgraded. So I like to disclose that for folks that actually follow my content. I'll tell you what not to buy that's in my store.
Huh. Yeah, I don't get that Filmington newsletter. I just shop his stuff, like a regular person. I need to get this newsletter that tells me what's in your store that I shouldn't be buying.
So a refractor went for $3,500 on October 5th. BGS 9.5. $3,500 on September 19th. Phil, look at that. You made $1,000.
Is that a True Gem Plus?
I don't know. Let me look.
Probably not. There can't be a ton of those, I wouldn't think. But
it is a Min Gem 3,500.
Then add another 25%.
Easy.
Can I be honest? I'm over all the Beckett subgrade stuff. When do we think that we're going to see Beckett start to? And they've already dropped, but like, if it's inevitable, it's going to keep going, right? At this point, with what BGS is doing, which is nothing.
I don't know. I'm still keeping an eye on it. It still seems to me, and Phillips, I'm sure he's got his finger more on the pulse of this, but the Min Gems are still slightly outpacing the PSA 9s, because I've been watching that. I have quite a few Min Gems that I've been considering moving over, but people still like to see that gem mint on the BGS, even if it's a Min Gem 9.5. They haven't went all the way down yet.
Too many high value cards, too much legacy with like early 2010 stuff, a lot of Bowman Chrome stuff, especially. Yeah. They're gonna maintain relevance for a while, whether we like it or not. I have noticed the same. And every once in a while, somebody will pay close to a PSA 10 price for a BGS 9.5. Even a Min Gem, I mean, it still has the gold label that you like, that a True Gem.
Gold, it says Gem Mint.
It's still a Gem Mint. It's still a Gem Mint. So that in itself is worth something. For me personally, like Scott approached me to try to sell me a card, probably to help pay off the Judge. And it was a BGS 9, and the subgrades were good. But I was like, even though the card's pretty special and it was numbered to 150, I'm like, am I going to be able to like sell this to somebody? It's a BGS 9. Like, are they going to view this like a very substandard to a PSA 9? So me, when I'm buying cards now that are like already low numbered, or really, if the card's already low numbered, so like the PSA 10 doesn't matter that much, I try to seek out PSA 9, but you can't always control what's going to be available for sale or an auction. Yeah. But if it's up to me, if it's like an orange Bowman Chrome autograph of like, guy, say if I'm looking for like Paul Skeens, like I'd prefer the PSA 9, and not pay the 2.2x multiplier for the 10. And same goes with the gold. I'm kind of getting tired of paying up for grading scarcity.
Me too, Phil.
That's another whole conversation. We can talk about that a lot this offseason, because there's a lot there.
It's funny, I'm bashing BGS. The most expensive card I just purchased, which I just showed, is a BGS slab. So, I mean, I trust them still. And some like the authenticity of the card, right? It's just
Are you thinking, Scott, of transferring that over, of trying to switch it to a PSA?
I don't think so.
You know how tough PSA is on those thicker cards.
That's why I'm looking at the back, and they gave it an 8.5 corners, and it looks like an 8.5 corners. I don't think it would be a PSA 9. It'd probably be a PSA 8. Yeah. And something about a BGS 9 with 210 subs just looks better. And plus, it's a card that's going to be a long term. It's a 1 of 1. Doesn't really matter, right?
1/1.
So I won't cross it. Plus, I don't want to pay for it. If I spent this card, they would charge me so much. So it's not worth it. If I wanted to sell it, maybe, but I don't want to, at least for the next few years, is kind of my hope. So,
yeah, I think most of the best cards that Jeff and I own are in BGS slabs, and it's too expensive at this point to cross them. So they kind of are what they are. Even if it is a dreaded BGS 9, it's fine.
It's too expensive to cross them, and most likely they won't cross to a higher value grade, and so you lose money a lot of the time.
Right. It depends.
That's my issue on a few.
If you have like a True Gem Plus on a Chrome card with a good surface grade, you're more likely to cross it than some other ones. So yeah, it's but at that expense, when you're paying on some of these cards like $500 or $750 or whatever their markup is now, just to get their opinion on it, that's a lot. That's a big risk to take.
Yeah. With me also, not to go too far down this and piss too many people off, but a lot of the nice, well, not all, but many of the nice BGS crossover candidates have already been crossed to PSA. So when you buy a BGS card, you run the risk of getting something that was a little overgraded, or better said, there's less of a chance it'll be undergraded. Maybe it's fairly graded, maybe it's a little overgraded. So that BGS 9 example with Scott, I'm like, you're working with a cloudy holder with BGS in a lot of cases. You can't really look at that surface as well. BGS is notoriously easier on surface versus PSA in a lot of cases. But if you were to go back like 10 years ago, they were probably more strict with a lot of things. Right. But I'm saying like most of the cards in BGS slabs, they're going to be more lenient. There's a certain point in time where they would just ignore refractor lines. Just like those vertical lines, be like, oh, that's not going to hurt the card. And then PSA was accounting for it. And then Beckett started to account for it too.
I'm showing the card because, again, you can see the inner sleeve does make it hard. Luckily, this one has a 10 surface sub, how much you trust that. But if it was an 8.5 surface, you'd have no clue what was going on without looking real close. So
a 10 on surface, there's a whole chunk of that surface that's cut out. It's weird. Maybe they just didn't see that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Questionable grading.
Anywho, so that's my big pickup, though. So let's hope it goes well. Hopefully,
I think 350 homer seasons gives Judge a very solid floor moving forward. So I think he's at this point a pretty safe buy.
Have you looked at his like all-time ranking on like OPS plus and WRC plus?
No, I assume it's fairly high though.
Where do you think Judge ranks since 1960 on WRC plus? Weighted runs created plus, very similar to OPS plus, which compares you to league average for OPS, for those that don't know what it means.
I'd say easily top 10, probably top 5.
1 or 2? Are you talking career?
I mean,
or this season?
Not 1.
All time, like for whole career. So like the careers of players.
So 1 or 2, right?
He's number 1 ahead of Bonds right now.
He's ahead of Bonds.
Ahead of Bonds. He hasn't declined yet, which is going to drop him below Bonds. It's inevitable.
And so this is meaningless to bring up.
Hey. But my point is, he essentially is having like a Barry Bonds type peak right now. 223 OPS plus, 2 1.1 OPS seasons. Mike Trout never did that. Trout's never had a season over 200 OPS plus. Plus the all-time AL home run lead. Like there was just some reasons why I like Judge. Yeah. We just need him to start hitting in the postseason. That'd be great. That'd be helpful. But I think he will. I'm actually concerned about like Mookie, to be honest. He's a very streaky guy. If he's good, he's good. If he's bad, he's horrible. Like there's no in between for Mookie in his timing. And I'm assuming Judge is the same way. So this week off is going to make or break some players, to be honest with you, in regards to their timing. That's my concern. So hopefully it fixes Judge and doesn't break Mookie is what I'm hoping.
It's a lot of time off.
Game 1 of time.
On Friday.
That's like a ton of time off.
Feels like that's when like preseason should be getting going.
Yeah. Now, listen, as a Freddie Freeman super fan, I will tell you I'm thrilled at this time off because there's no one that needs it more than he does. And hopefully after 7 days of elevation, compression, ice, and rest, I said that in the wrong order, but you get those 4. Hopefully that's enough to get him in the lineup for a couple games in a row and maybe feeling pretty good about his swing.
Who do we think is going to win the World Series? I know we talked about who we want to win. I think Scott is a little worried about the Dodgers bullpen, right? And pitching overall.
Their bullpen is significantly okay. Let's be careful with the description of words I'm using here. Significantly.
Both teams have questionable bullpen.
The Guardians bullpen, best in baseball. The Yankees dismantled it, killed it.
Well, they dismantled themselves.
Did they? Or is it the
Yes.
Yankees are good? Juan Soto is good.
Clase changed his entire approach.
Yeah, that's true. Clase was an idiot.
And completely fell apart. He fell apart against the Tigers, too.
My point also, though, I want to note is one issue that a lot like Soto, Judge, Stanton, they did is they switched pitchers every single at-bat that they faced. So they hardly ever faced a pitcher more than twice. They did with a few, but it was very rare. That's not going to really be an option for some of the Dodgers starters, like with Yamamoto and Flaherty and Buehler. So I do think that there is a chance the Yankees slug really, really well. And if we look on paper, their rotation is better. I just don't know how they're going to click offensively. So
that's a good point. Vegas has the Dodgers as a slight favorite right now. I think
that's who I would vote to. But
the Yankees are plus 105. So spend 100 to make 105. And the Dodgers were like minus 115 or something, minus 110. Yeah, I don't know. ESPN Analytics does have the Yankees as being the favorite.
Really?
It's going to depend on Stanton and Judge a little bit. It's going to depend on it depends on everything. You know, there's a lot of variables here. It's not just one. I could see this definitely going 7 games though, and Soto having some more heroics. So it's going to be super exciting to watch. Talk about like the product on the field. So it seemed like for a few games that the Dodgers Mets was like kind of an even series, but as Scott brought up, a lot of blowouts. Overall, the Dodgers outscored the Mets. I think it was 46-26.
Crazy.
So even though it lasted 6 games, it was kind of one-sided overall. We've got the 2 best teams on the field at the same time, given Dodgers have a lot of injuries. No Glass now, no Kershaw, no Bobby Miller. How many other pitchers are they missing? Yamamoto, I don't know. He's sort of hit or miss. He has some good innings and some other innings where he's just not hitting his spots. And Buehler, he had like that resurgence game with a lot of strikeouts, a lot of swing and misses for once. But like, is he really going to be able to build off that?
That can change.
In the post-game conference, he said he was going to. A-Rod said that was the turning point of his career, but I don't know if it really was.
Yeah, I see similarities. I think both of these teams are basically have 3 starting pitchers, and they all have question marks. You know, I'm not penciling in Carlos Rodon for a dominant start against the Dodgers in LA. I don't think that's a given. Gerrit Cole's last start against Cleveland, he really struggled. I mean, they're similar, and they both rely on their bullpens. What Dave Roberts did against the Mets was kind of what you were talking about. MLB Network broke this down. Only 2 Met hitters saw a Dodgers reliever more than once. And it happened. Well, Lindor saw 1 pitcher twice, and Alonso saw 1 pitcher twice. They're deep in that bullpen, especially if Vesia can come back. Remember, he like hurt his back or something, I think the last game against the Padres. So they only had 1 lefty against the Mets. So, but they are deep on righties. They have like 4 shutdown righties. So I would expect Juan Soto to be walked quite a bit in this series.
Too. Until Judge proves he can hit again, I think that's going to happen. And Judge had a good, like, he didn't have a horrible.
He was fine against Cleveland.
He didn't. But like overall, like he's not been Aaron Judge. But Juan Soto's been the better version of Juan Soto. He was actually really cold in the season. He wasn't quite right, and then the time off actually helped him. That's kind of what I'm saying. But if Vesia and Gratterall come back, that is a huge plus for the Dodgers. If they don't, I think that the advantage might be to the Yankees a little bit. But if I had to like put money down, I'm going Yankees. Not Yankees. I'm going Dodgers. But
subconscious creeping out right there.
No, I would guess Dodgers.
I know. Freudian slip.
Right.
So
the licking of the lips, if Soto does that again during an at-bat, he's probably going to end up getting walked. So he's got to be careful. That's in poker world. That's a tell. Like, I've got something on you. You can't get me now. He hadn't even thrown a fastball yet. Like,
no.
How do you know you can hit his fastball? You haven't seen it yet. Well, he's been sitting on it. And that one was supposed to be unhittable because it was supposed to be like another foot higher than it actually was.
I love to see him talking between every pitch. He's just looking out at the mound talking. It's just, I was thinking as I watched that highlight over and over again, I wish I had as much confidence doing anything in my life as he does going up to bat against a major league pitcher. Like, I'm not even that confident when I'm drinking my water. He just is in the zone when he goes up there. So yeah, I'm excited to see it. One comment I wanted to say about the lineups, the Dodgers to me seem like they have a deeper offensive lineup, more guys that can potentially get hot and hurt you. So I mean, to me, it's all going to come down to pitching. The Yankees have that nucleus of hitters that are really good, but it may get a little weaker down at the bottom of their lineup. I just feel like whatever team can get some decent starting pitching, so they don't have to go quite so deep into their bullpen in the first couple of games, they're going to have the advantage.
Yeah, I honestly believe, I agree with what you said, Jeff, but I think if I had to put like one statement who I think I'm going to win, I would just say whoever's big three shows up and does the best is going to win. Like literally, if Judge is Judge and Soto is Soto and Stanton continues, the Yankees will win. If Mookie stays hot along with Shohei and then Freddie comes back and is good, I think the Dodgers win. I think it really comes down to like those big three. We saw in the ALCS, Glaber was hot, Volpe was hot. You can't really rely on that. You just can't, right? And so I think whoever's big three is on fire has it.
Yeah, I feel like it could be similar to the Mets Dodgers series. Like when a starting pitcher gets blown up and the manager just sort of punts with the lesser arms, and then the next game the other pitcher could get blown up and the same thing is going to happen. So I can see that. I can see that trend continuing.
I can see that.
Well, Phil, do you have something you want to say? I saw you reach for your mute button. I was going to say, let's talk some cards real quick. Any final thoughts, Phil?
Dodgers having home field advantage, I think that's going to end up being a big deal. So, and that's probably why they have that slight edge.
Yeah. Let's look at, you want to look at opposing players' stats in respective stadiums, or is that just me that gets excited about that kind of stuff?
Probably just, Phil, what's your Soto exposure over there? Just wax?
I'm in a Soto IG chat, and they're going to hate me for saying it is what it is, but I've got a card I picked off Scott actually recently. This Gatorade bat that's already for sale.
What are you looking to get?
My dad reaches out to me. He's like, "Sell all your Soto cards tomorrow after Soto hit that massive home run." I'm like, no. I've got to list this now. That's the way it works. Like all that binge, impulsive buying happens at night. I don't know if you guys have noticed it with like, if you guys have tried to sell stuff on eBay at like bin, a lot of the sales happen when you're sleeping. It's like people need that dopamine hit before they go to bed. And I'm the same way. I'm like a little bit looser, right? I'm like, I got to get one card before I go to bed or else today won't be a successful day, you know? So that card is expendable to me. I've got a Soto Black Update True Gem. That would be the card that I'm keeping. And I recently sold a refractor just because I got a price that I couldn't pass off. Like it was the same price as a PSA 10 that I sold a BGS 9.5 for True Gem. Might have been a tad overgraded too. So now, you know, the PSA 10 comp has come up. That was like a month or two ago. But my exposure to Soto and Ohtani is through wax. So sometimes I forget that. And I'm like, oh, I need another Soto card. But I have like multiple cases of 18 update. Oof. Almost all the 18 wax I have has like Ohtani as like featured in the checklist because he debuted earlier that year. A lot of it, though, has Soto and Ohtani in it. So a lot of Topps Update, Heritage High Number, regular Topps Chrome, which doesn't have Soto, Topps Chrome Update, Megas, Value Packs. We've got some Gypsy Queen. I've got Bowman Retail, Bowman Jumbo. That would be Ohtani only. So a lot of stuff going on there. And it's not quite how most people do it. It's not the sexy way to do it. I can't show this stuff off on Instagram and get 100 likes. See a few of my more recent posts. I thought they're pretty witty. Nobody cares. That's okay.
If you put a big mountain of that wax up, that would get you a lot of likes.
I read your post, Phil. I read every word.
It will look like a bunch of cardboard boxes, though. It's not.
True. Yeah. But people can appreciate that. Hey, but are you thinking about selling any of that? Will you break the seal on selling any of that, depending how the World Series goes?
So I did a, not to plug myself, but I did like a exclusive RC Explosion box featuring a lot of the guys in the World Series. With that comes a lot of 2018 stuff. So it's like a one-time thing. It's only like 12 boxes at $500 a pop. That might be my only way of like trying to capitalize off this. Other than, I mean, if the price goes up, it'll still help me with all the stuff I own when I do feature it. And I might not. Some of the stuff that's sealed, I plan on holding and not opening for my customers. And some of that I don't even know. I don't have an answer to at this point as to what gets open and what doesn't. But I like to hold the 18 stuff long term, like 5 to 10 plus years. A lot of it. Yeah. 18 update, hobby, retail supply still hasn't dried up. Every year it's on sale at Blowout during Black Friday. We'll find out in a few weeks if they have it again. Maybe the blasters show up for $150. I'll continue to buy, and until those are all gone, like the 17 Prism and Optic football retail that you no longer see for sale, or maybe we'll see some of that again this year. But
so, you want to hear something funny, Phil? I think our first interaction ever was me selling you like 12 blaster boxes of 2018 Topps Update. Believe it or not.
Really?
And then I used that money to buy Soto. Yeah. I got them all.
What Soto card did you buy? Because I'm going to ask you how much I paid for those.
You got a good deal. I think you paid like 100 to 110 on them. It wasn't crazy.
It all depends on timing. I mean,
at
one point, those were like $12.
So 2019, maybe early 2018. I can't remember. Either way, I bought a Chrome Refractor Update rookie of Soto, which I have since sold.
Nice.
But yeah, that was our first interaction.
Cool.
Look at that. Love you, man.
I thought you were the guy that was reaching out to me about like the red Mookie Betts I had.
You had a red Mookie Betts?
Ooh.
That was number 5 from 18 Chrome.
What?
Are you sure that wasn't our first interaction? And you kept on asking me about it, and I was getting like, I was like, what's this guy doing? Are you gonna like buy the card or not? So eventually I had to like
sound like the way I operate in high end.
Yeah. Based on feedback from some other people. And I kept on, and then I started to increase the price, like just out of your reach every time, just on purpose, just so I don't have to deal with you.
That could have been me. Hey, but I will eventually buy. Like I bought that Judge after talking to that guy 5 times. I just don't like making irrational decisions. Okay, we can talk Soto, but I do want to talk splits. I have all the big player splits up in respective ballparks. All right, let me share my screen. Very first player, we have Aaron Judge, who's played a whopping 5 games in Dodger Stadiums and has 4 home runs and a 1.233 OPS. Small sample size, but still good. So he's good. He sees the ball well off the batter's eye, it sounds like. Let's go to Mookie Betts over in New York. He has a 725 OPS and 48 games played. Phil probably remembers Mookie being bad in Yankee Stadium as a Red Sox, but he did not do well. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's because the ballpark dimensions don't favor him. He does not go opposite field often for home runs. He usually goes center field, which hurts his power, especially left center field. So that hurts Mookie a ton. But either way, 5 home runs in 48 games played, so a really big sample size. Then Juan Soto, I had it. Give me 1 second. He's been bad in Dodger Stadium. It's actually his 3rd or 4th worst ballpark, and he played a bunch of games there in San Diego and is a national. Hits 229 at the 738 OPS with 7 home runs. And you might ask me, do these matter? Like, probably not, no. But I think there is some history you can look at and say, okay, if Soto struggles there but is good at home, maybe there is something there. Ohtani's bad in Yankee Stadium, and he's played 16 games with a 136 batting average. So that's interesting. He has 4 home runs, 612 OPS. Freeman is not good in Yankee Stadium. I mean, actually, I didn't look at his. His worst OPS in his career is in Yankee Stadium for whatever reason. And it's a decent sample size of 24 games. He is not good in Yankee Stadium. And then Giancarlo Stanton, I haven't looked yet, but I'm assuming he's been amazing in Dodger Stadium because he has the longest home run ever in that stadium, I believe.
Yeah, he's one of the, I think, 5 guys to hit a ball all the way out, like over the roof of the pavilions. He's one of 5.
This is not for. Is this for his career? Maybe I'm wrong. For his career, it looks like he is 938 OPS, 275 batting average, 14 home runs in 46 games. So, is this interesting to anybody else besides me, or is it just me?
Yeah, I mean, a little with like those the averages in Yankee Stadium. Mookie Betts, Ohtani, sample sizes. Well, you said just 8 games for Ohtani. Or 16? 16
games, pretty decent. That's 3 or 4 series.
Yeah, and that's more, well, in the case of Ohtani, that's more recent. In the case of Betts, maybe. I mean, Yankee Stadium, it can be a difficult place for a lot of people to play, whether they're playing with the pinstripe team or the other team. With Stanton, a lot of those at-bats would have been when he was like actually
with the Marlins. Yeah, when he was actually good.
Yeah, with Soto, I think about like, I know, small sample, but 2019, what he did in the playoffs. Against like Kershaw and others.
Yeah. He hit one of those big home runs in the 8th inning, I think, against Kershaw in Game 5. He either tied it or I think it was he and Rendon went back to back, but I forget who homered first to tie that game.
If we look at 2023 when Soto was with the Padres, he was actually better in Yankee Stadium than his career average. So when he was a National, he struggled there for some reason.
And Dodger Stadium. Yeah.
Dodger Stadium, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Thank you. But either way, the big three for the Dodgers have like some of their worst numbers in all of baseball with decent sample sizes in New York. So maybe does that sway your opinion on this series at all or not at all?
No.
Nothing.
I don't think so. I don't think there's enough predictive value there.
No. I think the value is on New York. If at the plus 105, I don't think I can take the Dodgers if I don't get even money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I get that.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's wrap this up by talking about our other cards of players real quick. We heard Phil's Juan Soto. I have 2 Juan Soto cards I've consolidated in 2, one of which is a blue Bowman Chrome autograph. I like that card a lot. I was going to sell that card, decided to keep it because I didn't need to, which is great. And then the other one is this one. I'll share it. It was this Dynasty. I'm a big fan of RPAs. So a Judge out of 5 just sold for $15,000. So I'm hoping this card has the same trajectory, especially because Soto has way less autographs than Judge, and only rookie patch autograph is this one. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. In terms of Soto autos, I still think this is probably I think this is his best auto. It's the shuffle out of 2020 Stadium Club Chrome.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Very predictable that I would say that I think this is his best auto. I know it's not a rookie, but I don't think that matters. I will say Jeff and I there was another one of these listed, a raw one on eBay like 2 months ago, Jeff.
Yeah.
And I think it was up for $700. And I was like, we should buy this. And we waffled. We sent an offer instead of just hitting the buy it now. And then the seller raised the price to $800. And then someone just hit the buy it now. So yeah, I would love to have a second copy of that card. I think it's cool. And there's not that many. There's like less than 100 graded everywhere. Probably less than 125 or 150 total out there, but very cool card.
Yeah, great one.
Awesome card.
While we're showing cards, I'll show my favorite Soto image.
Ooh,
is this guy?
Oh yeah.
And this is the refractor version of his Stadium Club Chrome 2019.
That's your favorite image, Jeff?
My favorite Soto image, yeah.
He has a lot of good ones. Why is that one your favorite?
He does. I don't know. I just like the low angle with the stadium in back. He looks young. I don't know. He looks young, but it's him versus his Bowman Chrome that hardly looks like him. His Bowman Chrome first. I don't know. He does have a lot of good ones. I love the Gatorade bath image as well, but I pulled this auto too, the auto version of this, not of the refractor, but it's one of my favorite autos.
Yeah. I like that card too. It reminds me of the Judge, the rookie SSP. It's sort of like waiting to hit, like, you know, focused, getting ready. And those images like that, you can really see the intensity those are cool. I like those. It's like, it's potential energy for you physics buffs.
All right. Any other players you want to talk about? I have a lot of Mookie Betts. Yeah, you guys like Mookie Betts too. I'm always surprised how much bets you two have on the bottom.
I love Mookie Betts. I have an SSP here. I think Jeff has an SSP there. If we can want to show two real quick. Here's his 2018. I believe, PSA calls it Fist Up, but this is a Salt Bay SSP. Yeah. I love this. I think, Scott, I know you have one of these too. And like the pops on both these cards are extremely low. Like these are real capital S Ps.
Yeah.
So if you're Betts fans, take a look, see what you can find.
Which they called gray jersey. And this is an 8. The back corners on this are a little, that year they're so dark on the back that any touch of white shows.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So we were thrilled to find a raw that was even gradable. We were happy to have an 8.
Yeah.
Awesome.
In terms of Ohtani, obviously, if you follow Jeff and I on Blab About Slabbing, you know we're big Ohtani fans. But I just wanted to mention one random card, which I have stuck in this giant SGC slab. But in 2019 Topps Chrome, he has a Gold Cup image variation.
That's a cool card.
Which are 3 words or 4 words. Yeah, that really hit me. So it's him and Ichiro. I think this card is fantastic. So one of my favorites. I managed to find a gold years ago, and it was in the slab then, and it's still in the slab today. I don't have the cojones to crack this.
I got some Ohtani cards. I got a trio of Topps Update Black Parallels.
Nice.
Got cool, the hitting pose that a lot of people like, but it's the debut.
Yeah.
Got this one, which isn't as cool as the Series 2, but that's the US 1.
Mm-hmm.
Numbered out at 67.
Nice.
And this is numbered at 67 as well. I'm also looking for the other two cards. The one with Ichiro, Japan's finest, and the other one I'm missing in the set that has a black parallel.
Phil, who was in that golf cart? Trout's in the golf cart with him too. Who else is in the cart?
Justin Upton.
Yeah.
But he'll be a Hall of Famer one day, so it'll boost.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
for sure.
No. I said earlier that I don't like paying up for scarcity on grade, but with black parallels, that's the only, one of the few exceptions, because first of all, they're numbered to, depending on the year, 60 to 75 usually, like the years I go after. This year was 67. And that's like getting to the point where like kind of want a little bit of like extra value with like the scarcity instead of, because the cards are not already like that special because they make just, they make more than 50 of them. But also because the black parallels are condition sensitive. So getting a PSA 10 or a BGS 9.5 with sharp corners, it's quite a quest to find one of, really doesn't matter any year. Like this year, there's been, and maybe we'll talk about this in the next episode, I've seen 5 Topps Update Paul Skeens rookies, black parallels, and they all have issues with them.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, the 2018 flagship blacks, I would say that's for me the biggest moment where I would pay between a 9.5 from BGS and a 10 from PSA. From what we have seen, the difference is substantial. Almost all those updated Acuna and Sotos all have, the BGS 9.5s all have bad corners. They're very generous, whereas the PSA 10s, for the most part, one exception, Jeff, that we have seen are incredibly sharp, and they almost look fake when you see them. It's like alarming to see those black borders just be completely untouched, and it's pretty special when you see one in hand. Yours look great. Any thought, Phil, on having Justin Upton sign that card? Crack it out, have Upton sign it, and then re-slab it?
Maybe in a silver marker?
Oh, yeah. Like right across where Ohtani and Trout are.
Should we finish that story showing that card that bothered you? It was the Mookie Betts gold, right? Is that why you were talking about it, or?
Oh no, that was a funny idea.
You real okay? Never mind. I missed the reference there. But yeah, I'm not going to deface a card like that. You might as well just remove it from the pop report at that point. PSA pop goes from 6 to 5.
All right, cool. All right. Does anyone besides me have any Freemans that they're thinking about during this World Series?
I do. I sold my Freeman to you.
Freeman blue.
Oh,
this guy. They had kind of a lighter blue then.
Yeah,
it's a little lighter blue. But yeah, I love this one. The borders are a little thick, you might say.
Oh yeah. They're definitely the best Bowman Chrome Auto from that year.
That's a hard one to find in good shape.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And blues, they don't sell a lot.
Auto's nice. Nice and bold auto.
Yeah, that's a good bold one.
Certain players' autographs have held up better than others over the years, and Freeman seemed to have held up really well compared to Mike Trout's have held up very well.
Yep.
Maybe I don't know. There's other players though that just like crap. Just
Jackson Merrill couldn't even get through one season.
Yeah.
He went from his full name to like Jackson to just a goddamn J. And by the time Sapphire came out, like just wrecking his own rookie cards. It's really frustrating.
Yeah. I even mean in regards to like fading. There's not many fading. Yeah.
That's what I thought you meant. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they've held up for whatever reason. The pen must have been better. So this is I want to talk about Mookie Betts because I love him. But this is one of my favorite Mookies. The clear PSA 10.
Nice.
Yeah.
I had the black. I don't know if you guys know, I sold the black. So
I was thinking about buying that. I kind of regret not buying it.
You should have. I sold it for exactly what I paid, just so I could get some more money. I have the clear, and I know I can get a black again. Does that make sense? So because I have like the better version, I only like need the better version. But
how many PSA 10s are there of this particular clear?
I think there's 3.
Yeah, it's a higher top than most clears. It's crazy.
They must have been better condition in 2014 than they are now. Because now
maybe a thicker plastic, maybe, or more durable plastic.
Years, maybe they just did a better job and then they just cared less later. But yeah, there's 3. That was my full rainbow at one point. But again, I've moved on of all of those. Besides what am I doing?
Yeah,
I meant to do this. Nope, that's what I meant. Nope. Anyway, I'll stop sharing before I keep messing up. Anywho, I also have a blue and a gold Bowman Chrome autograph of Mookie. So
nice. That's nice.
Yeah. I think we're all on Team Mookie here on some level, which is good.
I'm crossing my fingers. It's an assembly for my Salt Bay Mookie. We're going to see how it is. I'm mad they didn't leave it as fist up. They changed it to SSP. They wouldn't let me put fist up in. So
I have seen this. I And I've heard from a lot of people that PSA is trying to streamline or change how they're labeling all these image variations. They're going to actually start, they want them to be SSP and SP instead of these descriptions, which can get extremely confusing. I think that's a great idea, but it's going to take a long time.
Yeah, but there's no harm in putting them both on there.
Right. Oh, absolutely. It should say SSP-fist up is probably the best way to do it, but
exactly.
I mean, if they put cool descriptions on them, I'd be all for it, but most of their descriptions are just dumb for the super short prints, in my opinion. At least I've heard that from you too. So
yes, some of them are really, really stupid and pretty entertaining at the same time. All right. Do we have time for a quick Freddie Freeman? I have like 4 cards to go through real quick.
We always have time for a quick Freddie Freeman.
All right. That was mostly a question for our viewers, but all right. So I'm going to start with the only superfractor in my collection, which is this Freddie Freeman of 2019 Stadium Club Chrome. It's my like second favorite image on any Freddie Freeman card. He just hit a big home run against the Dodgers in the playoffs in 2018 and basically went batshit crazy on his way to first base. It was pretty awesome to watch. Jeff has the blue. I'm not so lucky. I have a refractor, but I am fortunate enough to have one of the 5 PSA 10s of this card. It's one of the very best centered copies I've ever seen.
That's awesome.
That's
very
great,
exciting.
dude.
Beautiful card. And Sig.
All right. This is his Topps Chrome Gold Refractor. In a PSA 10, this is the only one of these cards that's in a 10.
Centering was a huge issue with that.
Wow, that's the only 10?
The only 10.
Congratulations.
And a little side note, 2011 Topps Chrome, if you pull up the pop report for the set and just search for golds, there's less than 10 PSA 10s of this parallel in the entire set.
They couldn't center any of them.
They could not cut these sheets to save their lives. It's absurd. But yeah, this card is pretty awesome. This is one of the Freemans that I probably will, I say never sell, but you know, my wife will sell it 5 minutes after my corpse is found. All right, so this is probably number one, and this isn't just as special to me. 2022 Ultra SP, I believe, is what Topps or PSA calls them for whatever reason. So this is, I think there's maybe 20 copies of this card that exist. This is him catching the last out of the World Series. But I feel like cards like this should exist every year. There should be an image like this. Whatever shot ends the World Series, that player should be on a card in that picture. I don't know why they don't do this, but yeah, this card is awesome. And I haven't seen one sell in like, I don't know, close to 2 years now.
I made a video about that, Chris, talking about how imagery for Topps should be like this exact card because you love it so much. You told me about it. I think it's great. And I referenced the Todd Helton in 2007 catching an NLCS to, win the NLCS to go to the World Series. If there was only 20 of those cards, and I know there's not that many Rockies fans in the world, that card would be massive. And so I don't know why they don't do it. It wouldn't be that hard for them. So
yeah, 2022 they did a 5-card set, Ultra SPs of like 5 Braves players, and unfortunately, like they just didn't have that kind of whopping star power. So there's a Jorge Soler and a Dansby Swanson, but still those cards do sell for like over $200. Just those 2 names. I think Acuna and Freeman are the 2 big ones, but it's a really cool idea for a little subset. I wish they would do it annually.
Okay, I'm going to show a few more Mookies because you showed a couple of your favorite Freddies.
Yeah, please.
So this is a card that I've always loved. I've always loved the Future Stars inserts. I've always been a big fan, and the orange of Betts was really hard to find. I luckily found it on ComC for like $90, which I don't know if that's good or bad, but I feel like it was a good price. So this is at PSA right now. I love that card. But this is probably one of my favorite Mookies. This is the foil board from Stadium Club out of 25. It's his only numbered Stadium Club rookie. There is an out of 10 like artist proof or something, but people prefer to have the card numbered. Plus, this is all foily. So this is one of my favorite cards I own, even though it's not super valuable. I think someday it'll get the love it deserves. So
yeah,
I like
Stadium Club rainbow foils are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do the full run, but there's a few years like 2018 where it says we play for championships. Is that 2018 or is that 2019?
19.
That one's tough to find, that unfortunately. And the last Mookie I want to show is this one with Judge and Mookie on it, like with a quad patch. I've always been a big fan when multiple players have patches on cards, especially good players.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
This is one of my best favorite ones. In my opinion, the 4 best outfielders of their generation, you could argue, back in like the late 2010s. So
yeah, that's really cool.
I bought that card and kind of regretted it instantly, but then I appreciate it. I think I paid like $250 for it, and that was way over comps because it had nice patches of Judge and Trout. And Mookie has a patch too. Harper's is just the baby blue, the powder blue. But a base went for like $500 recently. So I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, Jeff, anything else you want to share card-wise?
I will show one more image. This Ohtani image is one of the favorite cards that Chris and I have actually pulled out of a box. We pulled this out of a Stadium Club box, and just the energy that Ohtani has. And we're not going to see exactly this because he's not going to be pitching, I don't think, this World Series, but he might, and it should be fun to see.
Yeah. Now, before, Jeff, do you have a Gerrit Cole there you want to show real quick?
Oh, yeah.
Because we did, Jeff and I, in this offseason, a lot of people talked about buying Gunnar Henderson, and we said, no Gunnar Henderson, no Witt. We're buying pitchers, which we won't do again. But this Gerrit Cole card is I think it's one of his absolute best cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, Topps Chrome, rookie SSP, described by PSA. Jeff, what's that say there?
Walking.
Walking.
We got walking.
Yeah. I like the kid in the background with the sign, plus the way he's stepping, Phil. I'm sure you noticed, like his glutes are flexed, so there's a nice profile there.
Yeah, yummy. I don't have any other cards to share, but I can share that as this has been going on, I've won 2 snipes for 2018 Wax.
Nice. Awesome. Well, with that all being said, any final thoughts from any of you three before we call it an episode?
Yeah, I just feel like hobby-wise, this is maybe the best World Series that the baseball card hobby could have hoped for. Last year, if we had done this show last year, I had 0 cards of anyone in the World Series last year. Like nothing. I think I have one like Corey Seager Gold Cup card. That's it. This year, I mean, it's like a bunch of players that we all collect. So we may not necessarily like these teams, but I think we do like these players. So it should. I'm really looking forward to watching this. And as much as I would like the Dodgers to win, I want to see Freeman if he can stand. My ideal hope is he has a Kirk Gibson style moment in one of these first 2 games. I think that would be incredible. He kind of has a lot in common with Kirk Gibson, so that would be really cool. But yeah, I'm excited for this to start.
That's one thing we did not discuss at all is how good this is going to be for Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
All of us, like as a Rockies fan and Jeff as a Brewers fan, you two, we're not going to discuss, but us two, like, don't love seeing, as small market teams, all these teams spending the money and then getting there, which is tough. Yeah. But at the same time, like for ratings, Japan's going to tune in. We're going to see such big ratings that we haven't seen for decades. And it's going to be really good for baseball. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of cool at the end of it, either Shohei or Judge are going to have their first World Series rings, which is great. Like no matter what, like someone's legacy is getting defined over the next.
Soto's going to have his second by age 25.
Like 2 different teams before he goes to the Mets and wins one there.
Oh God.
A lot of potential Hall of Famers in this World Series.
Yeah, like this is. I understand people on Twitter or X, just like the second time this episode, are saying they aren't going to watch. But like this is going to be an epic World Series, even if as like an average fan. Like this is an epic World Series. I'm excited. So
it's what the sport needs, and it's what the hobby needs, in my biased opinion. But the sport definitely needs something like this.
As a Rockies fan, let's just say hypothetically it was the Rockies-Rays World Series. I'd be excited, but no one else would be. And I'm aware of that. It wouldn't like be good for baseball. It wouldn't be bad, but it wouldn't be good. This is good for the sport.
That would be a struggle to watch. I'd have to drink more than usual to get through those games.
Oh man, I hope for the day that the Rockies have success. It'll never happen. Anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you later.